Hi, good evening, everyone. Very warm welcome to you all on the seventh day of 7 days executive program. My sincere gratitude to ICAI President CA Nehar Jambusaria sir, ICAI Vice President CA Dr. Devashish Mitra sir, ICAI Acting Secretary CA Jaikumar Batra sir, Central Council members, and this program is an initiative of Committee for Members in Industry and Business under the leadership of Central Council members, Chairman C.A. Hansraj Chuksa and Vice Chairman of the committee, C.A. Durgesh Kabra sir. We have come so far with your support. We have been able to make a significant difference in your lives with these sessions where from all over the world you have been engaging with the speakers and learning from their experience. The journey of learning has been very good. We all have been waiting for these days, and with our active participation, the encouragement for our speakers who come here to share their experiences has been very good. When we all are encouraged to learn, we together make a significant difference in everyone's lives. Today we have two sessions, very critical sessions where we will be discussing team building and high performances. Our first speaker today, a very experienced person. Let me share the experience of our first speaker, Mr. Ramnath Venkatraman, who is based out of Dubai, UAE. Ramnath Venkatraman is the head of learning and development at Empower Sales, a renowned training organization in Middle East. He comes with over 34 years of international banking experience in ANZ Grendel Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and was one of the team who started Noor Bank in the year 2007 in Dubai, UAE. He was head of learning for Noor Bank till 2018, and he managed retail banking projects impacting customer experience and digital transformation in the bank. He has worked in various capacities, especially in the areas of learning and development in India, Australia, and has extensively traveled to UK, GCC countries, which include the major countries of Middle East and Asian countries like Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh as a global facilitator. He has been educated in renowned institutions like St. Xavier's College, Kolkata, and XLRI, Jamshedpur. He is a popular, inspirational public speaker and facilitator. His training programs range from team building, sales and service, management development, and communication, engaging and appealing to all levels. He has been a sought-after facilitator for MCS and advanced ITT sessions for over a decade at Institute's office in Dubai. He is a popular public speaker and mentor and an ardent lover of Indian classical music, dance and theatre, and he is significantly involved in community service for last many years, for last decades in UAE. Mr. Ramnath is a person who has a very soft voice, who is very soft and calm, and with his sessions on brainstorming, group discussion, team building, he mesmerizes the audience very well. Today, I hope that you all will be encouragingly participating in what Mr. Ramnath will be doing today. So please help us welcome Mr. Ramnath Venkatraman. with the big virtual round of applause. Ramnath ji, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Oh, assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, perfect. Perfect, sir.
Great. I seem to get an echoes. So I'm not too sure, but am I fine?
Perfect. No echoes.
Yeah, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
Okay. Thank you very much. And it is indeed a pleasure to be in all your company today. And such words make me feel very humbled. At the same time, I get very nervous. And what an August gathering in the month of May as we get into June. This is a time where I would really like to acknowledge the committee of members in industry and business and Chairman CA Hansraj Chugh and Vice Chairman CA Durgesh Kabra as I start this little session. Actually, such a wonderful topic, team, creative thinking, problem solving, they all come together. The word team, T-E-A-M. What can we say about it? Can one hand clap? No, you need two hands to even clap. And to make a difference in our family, in our community, in our society, in our country, and in this wonderful
Your voice has a problem, Ramnath ji.
So you're gone on mute, it appears.
I think the connection is weak. Ramnath ji, can you hear? Your voice was not coming in.
Really? Now?
Yeah, now it's okay. I hope your connection is stable. Because
no, I'm very much
okay, fine. You go ahead. Go ahead now. So you can repeat what you were saying for the past 1 minute. Yeah.
Oh, really? So,
right.
You know what I was trying to tell you is, did you hear my acknowledgement of all of them?
Yes, done. The acknowledgement we heard afterwards in the last 1 minute, your voice was not.
Oh, I see. I just hope things work out here. What I was trying to say is, you know, even to have a resounding clap, you need two hands. And right. To make such a session possible for 7 days, gathering of speakers cannot be the work of one person. So Pradeep, to all of you, to Mr. Ranganathan and the entire team, I right. think it is laudable. This itself shows how important teamwork is. See, as chartered accountants, you people are so special. You have put in so much effort. You have burnt the midnight oil. You have cracked the exams. And now you are positioned in such a wonderful place, whether it is in your firm or you people are working for somebody else. But that is the beauty, that whether you are running your own firm or you are working under an organization, teamwork is absolutely essential. When this topic came to me, I was wondering, when did this concept of teamwork start? What about the Stone Age? How did the Stone Age people start building some civilization? How did they all come together? How did they find the caves? How did they start earning their source of even the ability to be able to gather food, to be able to hunt? It could not have been one person. It has started there. So teamwork goes ages back. Then we come to the fact of even a family. How could I be a self-made man? I was a child when I was born. I had my parents. I had my entire ecosystem to help me to grow up. Then came school. What about school? That fun of being with our co-students, that kind of fun in sports, in studies, in talent shows, the teamwork started happening there. Then came to college. All of you know what fun it was to be able to interact with people, to have a lot of fun outside the college and inside the campus, of course. And then now you people have earned your special place in as CAs, and you are stepping into the prime of your career, and the importance of teamwork cannot be underplayed at all. We have millions of examples where teamwork is important. What do you all remember the lovely movie Lagan? How was it? That particular village boy was able to defeat the British. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember Chuck De India? The movies?
Right.
See, these are movies from where we really draw inspiration. Correct? And that is what brought me to the idea that team building is so important for us. We have to be a team player. And in this regard, I thought we must necessarily understand the importance of the Tuckman's 5-stage theory of team development. Have you heard about it? Of course. Forming. Then we come to storming. Then we have norming. We have performing. We have adjourning. Isn't it important that we understand what this is? Forming. When a team forms, this is the very first stage of team building. During this stage, the members are uncertain about their role. Who is in charge? And the group goals. What is happening to the group? And what happens to mutual trust in this stage? It is very low. If the formal leader does not assert his authority, an emergent leader will step to fulfill the group's need for leadership. This is something that precisely happened when I was with ANZ, and we had to actually go to Australia, and from Australia we had to actually go to an island called Vanuatu. All of you would be aware of that. It's a tax haven. And we had to build an operating model, a new set of systems and procedures and policies had to be done. And we were people from Pakistan, from India, from Australia, from Papua New Guinea. And suddenly this group was formed, and they said, please go and teach these people. This particular island is like a French old colony. People could not speak very good English. They wore these French Mother Hubbard dresses, and they were looking at us as if we are people from Mars. And imagine we had to suddenly form a team of people from all over and get the project completed. Wow, the forming of the team had started. And then you know what happens. Comes the second stage of storming. This is the time of testing. Individuals test the leader's policies and assumptions, and they try to determine how they fit into the power structure. Who's going to be the team leader? Who's going to be the assistant? Who is going to take care of the front line? Who is going to actually manage the other equations? Some members felt totally overwhelmed. How much there is to do? How can we do so much? This project was given to us in no time. It is not possible. All the possible problems and confusions started coming in. And some members started reacting by questioning how worthwhile the goal of the team is. They said, Ramnath, this is not possible. This is an impossible project. We were not told the background of this particular place. But that is the nature of storming. Then, of course, when we realized that there was no other way but to complete the project, the team started norming. Teams that make it to the second stage of storming come to this stage of norming. Team members start learning to respect authority and show leadership in different areas. So in that case, you know what I did? I'm good at training. I said, listen, I'm going to take charge of training. You go ahead and take charge of all your other processes. Mr. Adam, you take care of the systems. Miss Smith, you take care of ensuring that these people actually understand the new processes and how the new forms and systems come into place. And then the entire norming started. Gradually, we used to meet in the evening over drinks and dinner, and a feeling of team spirit started because people found their own roles. See, in India, it's possible because you're in one place. हम एक जगह पे हैं. एक, हिंदी में बात कर लेंगे. बांग्ला ते कथा हो जावे. Tamil நம்ம பேசிக்கலாம். But imagine being in a country in the Pacific Ocean and trying to form a team. It was very difficult, but people understood that yes, I know where I stand. I know what are my strengths, and I know that the success of the project is going to be our success. So the third step became the norming stage. And once the norming stage was achieved, the fourth stage was performing. Performing, this is the stage where, this activity is focused on solving task problems. Members of a mature group, the contributors get their work done without hampering others. There's absolute communication and strong cooperation. What used to happen was morning huddle. We used to gather like the cricket team, said, okay, you go to that branch, I go to this branch. We shall meet again during lunchtime. We shall again meet during the end of the day. And people did their particular roles so beautifully. Anytime we had some issues, hello, Ramnath, what about this particular field? Ramnath, how's that procedure there? Where can I find it? People started performing. And stage 5, the work is done. Adjourning. The work is done. It is time to move on to other things. Having worked so hard to get along and get something done, many members feel a compelling sense of loss. Now we've done. Now when are we going to meet again? And we all flew back to Melbourne, having completed 14 days of a successful implementation. People who are using a manual system of operations started using a system, and everything got established. And then we started feeling, oh my God, we started missing each other. So this is how a team spirit starts forming. Now, we come to I was thinking, how about some creativity? How about some strategic thinking? So here I have something to show you. Can you see?
Not yet. Yeah, now it's fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Wonderful. See, it is important for teams to have strategic thinking. What if it's a combination of critical and creative thinking? You use your head for critical and your heart for creative. See, the bulb starts flashing there. How does this all happen? What might strategic thinkings, you start thinking of what might happen. This is exactly what happened in the team. We started looking for options, and then we started making choices, and we started making decisions. Then we started planning, how will we do it? And then actions happened. Think about, evaluate, view, create. This is strategic thinking in brief. Typically, now is you people are the strategic thinkers. You are proactive. You are long-term focused. You are inquisitive. You are creative. You are willing to take risks. You are flexible. And all of you are lifelong learners. You know, the conventional thinkers, when you look at old people, you must be thinking, oh my God, my leader is such a reactive person. He's such a short-term focused. He's unconcerned. He doesn't have imagination. So cautious and so rigid and very content. But you are the young ones who are strategic thinkers, and this is very important for a great team. And as a team leader, as a team member, you have necessarily to be a strategic thinker. What does Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam say? Important aspect of creativity is seeing the same thing as everyone else, but thinking of something different. Can you see the child? Can you see the play of colors? Can you see the beautiful formations of formula that is going on? In each one of you, there is that child. Let that child flower. Let that child blossom, because that is what is going to set you apart. In today's age of pandemic, where things are virtual, where you will have to work from home, where you have to interact with people across the globe, you necessarily must have this beautiful combination of creativity and critical thinking. This is the only way where the team can function beautifully. You have to understand who among you has more of the right brain thinking, who among you has more of the left brain, and try to synergize and then get the best out of it. In this process, you start learning from each other. Have you heard of Edward D. Bono's six thinking hats? We all do. But what is the importance of this in a team? Because if everyone were the same, this world would become boring. An organization would lose its luster. There would be no success. There would not be the flavor of working in collaboration, because you need one person from your team who should keep asking questions. You need one person who reads regularly and gathers knowledge from different sources. You need somebody who has ideas blossoming all the time. And you need to be so self-aware of your skills, your strengths, your weaknesses, your dislikes and your biases. And you need to brainstorm. And for that, please start applying this in your work life, in your family life, any situation that comes. If you're going to meet a client, form the team. Get one into a blue hat, one wears a green hat, one a white hat, one a yellow hat, one a red hat, and one a black hat. The blue hat person says, I'm going to look at the process. He's thinking about thinking. What thinking is needed? He's organizing the thinking and planning the action. Mr. Green Hat is full of creativity, ideas, alternatives, possibilities, solutions. And solutions to whom? You have that black hat fellow, very cautious, always looking at difficulties, always looking at weaknesses, dangers, spotting the risks. Logical reasons are given. To counter a black hat, you need a green hat team member. He says, don't think negatively all the time. I can suggest some solutions to you. Then you have the white hat. Mr. White Hat says, listen guys, let's get our facts correct. I have the information. I am neutral and objective. What do I know? I will tell you. I need to find out this. Where are we going to get this information? I have done it for you. There comes Mr. Yellow Hat. He knows that the client expects benefits. So he starts thinking of all the positives, all the plus points. Why an idea is useful. And he starts giving the logical reasons. Of course, and the red hat, full of feelings, intuition. I think this is what is going to happen. I have a hunch. I have a gut feel. So, ladies and gentlemen, the future leaders, please ensure to find out which is your predominant hat. Am I a blue hat who's very process driven? Am I a green hat who's very creative? Am I a red hat who has a lot of importance for feelings and emotions? Am I a white hat who always gets his facts ready or is able to research? Am I a yellow hat who thinks about how to impress the client with benefits? Or am I a black hat who says, listen, it's good to be optimistic, but we should also anticipate what could be the risks. So you people have a wonderful combination to start using Mr. Edward de Bono's 6 thinking hats as a team. What else can you do as a team member? Challenge all assumptions. Suspend judgment. Keep revising your conclusions based on new evidence, which is what you do in your work. You start emphasizing on data and the never-ending testing of ideas. The perspectives that the mistakes are data, it's possible that you have that perspective. And you start consideration of possibilities and ideas without always accepting them, because then they start bringing up beautiful, more ideas, more solutions, and you start looking for what others have missed. And in this science-based, this is the 8 science-based strategies for critical thinking. You start remembering, you start understanding, you start analyzing, you start applying, you start evaluating, and you start creating. So, this is just to recap what you could do as a team member when it comes to critical thinking. Interpretation, understanding the situation and gather the facts. Analysis, identify the assumptions and reasons and examine to create arguments and perspectives. Inference, draw conclusions from reasons and evidence. Evaluation, assess the credibility of sources of information and determine strengths and weaknesses of arguments. Explanation, support evaluation by explaining the methods, criteria or assumptions or conclusions reached. And self-regulation, question the process, methodology, quality to information and approach and refine it further. Can you see the 6 hats in this particular slide as well? Can you see the white hat? Can you see the blue hat? Can you see the red hat? Can you see the black hat? So it is important to have a beautiful marriage of Edward de Bono and these aspects of critical thinking if you have to be a very successful team member and a team leader. Get the people. Find out who's the one who has a better interpretation skill. Who's the one who's better at analysis. Who's the one who can beautifully draw conclusions and articulate it. And then that is what makes a superb, excellent team. Individual brilliance, you have proven yourself. You have cracked your exams. This is the time, ladies and gentlemen, where you start understanding that there is another person who's equally bright. There is my team leader who comes with years of experience. There is somebody who comes from a different background, and let me try and pick up the best practices in him. This also happened actually when after coming back from Melbourne, when I was placed in Chennai, we started the first, the outsourcing, which is our Scope International. it was a new paradigm. This was a very new paradigm. Kuala Lumpur was one place and Chennai was another. Absolutely trying to get the systems and processes and the people to start working for another country. Not easy. You had to have a Subbalakshmi who had to actually think about a person from, say, Pakistan or Malaysia or Hong Kong, and to be able to talk. Then you had you had Anand Subramaniam who had to talk to people in London and the US. And that is how we decided that a teamwork requires so much of, constant communication, skills enhancement. We set up the domestic banking, division of Scope International, and I really gained a lot about team building there. I understood the importance of training and development. People who were graduates were coming into the system. We had to actually train them from the basics of banking, and now they're all doing so well. And it's a matter of pride that the seeds of team building, of team spirit that started way back in 1997 has really borne fruit. Of course, this is something all of you are so aware of. The ideas, identifying the problem as a team member, determining the relevant information, enumerating the options and anticipating consequences, assessing the situation and making decisions, and scrutinizing the process and self-correcting as needed. Every team member has to do this. As a team, have you all done a pest analysis? You've got to understand the political, the economic, the socio-cultural, and the technological factors that could weigh and impact your decisions. So you've got to look at the government stability and policies and regulations. You've got to look at the inflation and the interest and market trends. You've got to look at the socio-cultural aspects of new popular interests, education, what is happening in terms of the violence or the population and the distribution of wealth, and technology, as you know, new technology for the company, competing technology, opportunity for innovation, and speed of growth. This a session like this with your team members is really going to set you aside and set you up for success in your company and organization. We all know the Porter's 5 forces of competitive positioning, and this again, you've got to understand the threats of new entries, the buyer power, the threat of substitution, and the supplier power. Of course, you are also in competition with others, and you have to have that competitive spirit, but without compromising on your ethics, on your etiquette. And that is going to differentiate you from competition. What analysis? Every good organization takes time off, goes for a retreat, totally switches off and says, let us look at what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, what are our opportunities, and what are our threats. And this is something that I learned when I moved from Standard Chartered Bank to setting up as a founder member of a new bank, Noor Bank. Because there were many banks at that time. We are actually UAE's about 50 plus banks. But what will set us aside? And we formed a wonderful pool of talent where people came from conventional banks, within UAE and outside. We had sessions where each one said, this is what my strength is. This is what our bank's strength is going to be. We decided that we are going to be an Islamic bank, but progressive. Now that started differentiating us. It was not a typical Islamic bank. Yes, We were following the Sharia laws. The documentation was Sharia. The product team followed the Sharia principles. But yet, there was a progressive element about it. And our entire team used to find. And then imagine Ramnath Venkatraman from south of India heading the learning and development of an Islamic bank. See, that was the beauty of having a team which appreciated diversity, which appreciated people from, different walks of life, from different backgrounds. And I said, wow, what is there? So what if I have been a conventional banker for so many years? I can pick up the Sharia principles. I can talk. And imagine, initially, there was resistance from the Sharia board saying, Ramnath, you are Ramnath Venkatraman. How are you going to talk about Sharia principles? And I said, why not? Because after all, we are a bank. What is there about it? What is there in it? As long as I can convey what is supposed to be conveyed, why not? And over time, ladies and gentlemen, you'd be surprised that when we had our BPO at Bangalore, Manyata Park, the one who went and taught the call center leaders and the staff about Sharia concepts, about the products, it was Ramnath Venkatraman. That is what happens when as a team you start appreciating each other's strengths. So this is something I will always remember. Please spend time, and when you do a SWOT analysis, you have to be very honest with yourself. Otherwise, it is not going to get you anywhere. All of us have to be open, transparent, as an individual, as a team, and say, listen, this is where I need your help. And why not? People will help. There is no point in having an ego when you really want to get success in any project, any organization. You have to have your individual brilliance. But yes, 1 + 1 is not 2 when it comes to a team. 1 + 1 is much more than that. And you have to realize the benefits of your strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunity and threats. And that is how you as an individual can, become a leader. And that is how your organization can grow as well. I am the last one who should be talking about this particular thing. You are chartered accountants who know about the cost benefit analysis, quick decision making, variety of this, you can use this in a variety of situations. You can decide, how to pursue a project, cost benefits, monetary value to cost, and you can have to the monetary value to your benefits. Wish we could have another session where I could give you some case studies and, have these sessions as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, here are some very nice thinking skills to boost your strategic, thinking. We have to concentrate on immediate business. Can be a bit like working with blinders on. You're so focused on your to-do list and you are firefighting. So you forget to see the big picture. As a team player, never do that. If this is what you feel you are, you have to have a master plan and you have to have strategic thinking skills, leadership and effective communication. But strategic thinking doesn't always come naturally. And you have to go just beyond getting the job done. So as future leaders, start thinking about it right away. How do you use these skills in practice will actually cement your expertise? 5 ways I'm going to give you. One is start forging new relationships. And for this, it requires innovation. It requires different perspectives, new ideas. Is when you or your staff work, what happens is when you start working in a silo, you don't get, fresh input. You have to shake things up. You start finding opportunities to learn from colleagues outside of finance as well. See, you got to volunteer to collaborate with IT. when you want to do your ERP systems, prepare for the rollout of a new financial service, work with the creative department to design the marketing campaign. See, the more you know about the other aspects of the business, the better you'll be to be able to connect the dots and think strategically. I would really suggest that from tomorrow, you take it up to forge new relationships. Don't be in your silos. Of course, you are good at what you are, but why have you ever given it a thought? Somebody in marketing is equally good. Somebody in IT is equally good. So start collaborating, forging new relationships. Always question and think deeper. What happens is, as you go through your workday, you should make it a habit to consider whether something could be done smarter. Don't get comfortable with status quo. Start questioning yourself. Come up with better strategies. Ask other questions, and realize that there can be different perspectives. Start picking colleagues' brains. Hey, listen, man, what do you do? How are you doing it? What are the best practices? And the best question you could ask is, how have you learned from your mistakes? How have you overcome that? And when you start getting mentors and seasoned people to tell you how they have learned from their mistakes, that is when you start performing better. That is when you start becoming a better team player. That is when you start preparing yourself to be a team leader. You dig below the surface and uncover new opportunities and keep your strategic thinking skills top. Learn from your mistakes and learn from others' mistakes. We are very shy to do that because we do not wish to admit our mistake. But if you wish to be a great team player, you've got to learn from your mistakes and others' mistakes. Now we come to never stop learning and building skills. As you know, our fields are constantly changing. Old tactics may not be as effective because new developments have started. Your strategic thinking skills will remain relevant when you're well versed in compliance issues, human resources, trends, and the latest technology. If you're a manager, help your team stay up to date with regular training. If you are a team member, you are volunteering to train your team in the areas that you are good at. Compliance, reporting standards. If you are an entry-level finance professional, be proactive. Ask for training. You don't have to wait for your manager to hand you learning opportunities. You start seeking them yourself. Start reading trade publications, networking with others with the other industry professionals. And this is a wonderful opportunity that you should never miss. How about that? You make decisions and take risks. You people are so good, well equipped. We are the seniors. We used to, pag pag ke phunk dharo, phunk phunk ke pag dharo. We used to look before we leapt. But you people are the ones who really like to make decision, take risk. The best way to hone your strategic thinking is by doing it. Let's do it, as Nike says. Don't get into this analysis paralysis because, don't overthink. Balance the pros and cons, the benefits and risks, and then make a decision. And if you are going to manage a team, don't punish employees for taking calculated risks. Of course, you don't support recklessness, okay? But innovation has to be encouraged. A wrong decision is not a failure if employees become more discerning and aware as a result of that. And last but not the least, take time to recharge. We get into this workaholic syndrome. But what happens? Have you seen the best places like Google? They have their, what do you call that? Those bean bags, sit out. What should I say? Take your reflective time. Ideas start coming. There, you need to consciously take periods of inactivity, because that is going to help you avoid burnout. Not only that, you are going to become more enterprising. If you want to become a good team player with strategic thinking, these are the times during downtime. The brain has to get a chance to decompress. It has to wander. It has to look for different outcomes. So don't feel guilty at all about taking lunch breaks during the workday. Make time for a real lunch and go for holidays. You give yourself permission to get away from office, you'll come back to your job sharper than before. So, Pradeep, I wanted to give them a flavor of something very different, because we've talked about, the stages of team development, which is the Tuckman's theory of forming, of storming, of norming, performing and adjourning. And, they start crying as well when a good team forms and then breaks out. But when it comes to your own organization where you're a team member, you've got to contribute. What I want to emphasize is your individual brilliance is one, but unless your individual brilliance will help you win a tournament, but team will help you win championships.
Right. So we have 3 minutes to go. We can take 1 or 2 questions. If anyone has any question, can please quickly host it. And great session. As I said that, the soft voice you have, you mesmerized it. Mr. Ranganathan, yes, please.
Sir, will it be possible for you to share the PPT? Some of the students have asked for it. Some of the members have asked for it.
I'll be more than happy, because in this session I could only give you a glimpse of. So in our big, in my usual sessions, we take case studies. We have, teasers to create, even develop critical thinking. We have videos where we show them, especially video clippings of movies and real life, and I'm more than happy to share this video, these slides with all of you.
Thank you so much. I will request Ranganathan ji to please propose a vote of thanks to you for this session.
Namaskaram, sir. It's my pleasure to say, sir, that I would say that your PPT, you had a lot of critical thinking has gone into in preparing this PPT, and it's also original thinking. I don't think anything is borrowed from anywhere. I very carefully looked at your speech as well as the PPT, particularly the ideas, the business analysis, competitive rivalry. Wonderful session, sir. It's not only for these young members, even for oldies like me who are just about to hang their boot in another couple of years. Very useful session indeed. In fact, what you mentioned is not only for business, even in families or even in any walk of life. These kinds of skills do help. Thank you so very much. And welcome to you, Sangeeta madam. Namaskaram.
Oh, thank you very much. And Sangeeta ji, you take over. And
Yes.
Once again, I would like to really thank Pradeep ji and Ranganathan ji, and of course, Mr. Hansraj Chog and Mr. Durgesh Kabra for giving me this opportunity. I would love, and I have been associated with GMCS for 10 years, and I would love to contribute my might, because I keep learning a lot when I meet all the young students. God
Right.
bless, and all of you stay safe. Together, we all have to stay safe.
Thank
Sure.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, sir. Wonderful session it was. Thank you.
From Ramnath ji, he shared the knowledge from Dubai. Now we move on to getting the knowledge from Chennai, a beautiful city I last visited in 2019. is the gain enabler. She is our speaker for this session. Sangeeta contributes to business by enabling high performance and enhancing financial growth. As the founder and CEO of Yen Pacific, Sangeeta is on a mission to enable, empower, and elevate businesses with the purpose to serve entrepreneurs, leaders, and teams to shine and succeed. She brings along rich corporate experience of 25 years with multinationals, and her latest position was as the Executive Director and Chief Financial Officer of Dun & Bradstreet Technologies. Sangeeta is a chartered accountant, management accountant, and has completed executive education from Harvard Business School. She is a high-performance business coach from International Coaching Federation. She is a TEDx speaker, and she is a best-selling author of What the Finance and Get High. She has received many accolades, and some of them include awarded Leading Woman Chief Financial Officer in India, Nightingale Award by the Society of Auditors, Innovator in Finance at International Women Leaders Forum, awarded as 100 Inspiring Authors of India, Outstanding Professional Award by FICCI. Sangeeta is a professional speaker at many national and international events, forums, and corporates on business finance, high performance, and leadership. She believes in value creation for her clients. She is an independent director in IFB Industries Limited. She is married to Sumesh, mother of two, and balances her personal, professional, social, and spiritual life as an art of living practitioner. I got to know Sangeeta around 7-8 months back when I got opportunity to attend some of her sessions. Personally, I think Oman was the last when I attended Sangeeta's session. And I missed Bahrain session, but Mahesh, the then chairman of our chapter in Bahrain, very highly talked about you, Sangeeta, and I've been following you for the past 7-8 months. It's wonderful that you agreed and you came, you accepted our invite to speak to so many of our young professionals, and today you will be sharing the knowledge on ICAI head office platform under the initiative of Committee for Members in Industry and Business, where our chairman C. Hansraju and C. Durgesh Kabra's vision has allowed us to complete the 3 executive programs, and 3 more are to come. And we are really looking forward to your session today. I'm sure everyone will have a great time, and I request all to, from wherever we are, to please give a big virtual round of applause for Sangeeta and welcome her on the stage. Sangeeta, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Prabdeep. That was a lovely introduction. And before I get started, I want to wish everybody good evening, good afternoon, good morning from whichever part of the world you are joining us. So I would like to take this moment to acknowledge and appreciate the members of the CMIB of ICAI, especially the chairman, Mr. Chug, and the vice chairman, Mr. Kabra. Thank you so much. And the entire team. You guys have been doing a phenomenal job of putting all this together. And it's my absolute pleasure and delight to be here as part of this and, sharing my knowledge across the globe to most of the members who are there today. So thank you so much and continue this phenomenal job that you all are doing. So, right. Before I get started, I want you all to take a moment and just think. How would you feel if you accomplish a task with great efficiency, speed, and finesse? How would you feel when you achieve something that you thought you could not achieve? And if you keep getting consistently better at what you're doing, how would that be for you? I'm curious to know how you would feel, and this is going to be an interactive session, folks, so please keep the chat box buzzing, and I would request Prabdeep to please call them out for me on how is it you would feel when you accomplish a task with great speed, efficiency, and finesse, when you achieve a task that you thought you could not, and when you keep getting consistently better at what you do. How would that be for you? Go ahead and post it in the chat box.
Please post your views. We are really looking forward to how you feel. That will help Sangeeta significantly to see that how she needs to structure her session. And we hope we will get some good comments. Let us see. Jayesh says, IA will feel awesome.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. Yeah. You will feel on top of the world because you have impressed yourself by your performance. So my friends, my talk for today, Get High, is all about high performance, right? How to coach yourself for high performance. Because I truly believe there's a high performer in each one of us. And all that we need to do is to identify that and bring out the high performer in each of us. Now, during my tenure of 25 years in the corporate and also for the last 5 years as a business coach, I've been working with different corporate leaders as well as entrepreneurs, and there's something that I have noticed in common. High performance leads to high profits. So, if you were to look at high profits, achieving high profits, and if you go to the root cause, it is high performance. And therefore, my friends, high performance becomes something that's important for all of us in whatever walk of life we are, in whatever sphere we want to do. And that is the speciality of high performance. So again, I'd like to hear from you all. How many of you want high performance? Go ahead and post it in the chat box. And also, who wants to be associated with high-performing organizations? And how many of you want to be as part of high-performing teams? Go ahead and post it in the chat box. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on high performance.
Yeah, Sangeeta, before those these comments come, I would like to read Srinivasulu's comment on your earlier question, where he says, very proud of myself and try to find out my mistakes in that success also.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Mistakes are fine, but as long as you don't repeat the mistakes, absolutely fine. And that will actually drive you in the path of high performance. So how many of you want high performance? Do let me know. Are you
Vijay Lakshmi? Yeah, Vijay Lakshmi says satisfaction. Srinivasulu says high performing organization.
Excellent.
And yeah, so please quickly everyone, please type, let us have some good comments.
Absolutely. So you guys are awesome. So looks like all of you want high performance, and that gives me a lot of energy to move ahead in today's session. So what are going to be some of the key takeaways for you at the end of today's session? Let's check that out. So firstly, like I said, I've been a high performance business coach, and I have noticed something. Some of the challenges seem quite common across industries, across levels, and I'm going to share with you some of these common challenges that come in the way of high performance. The second thing that you'll get to know is some of the keys to overcome these challenges and how you can find your solutions to be the high performer that you want to be. And the third takeaway would be, I'm going to share with you a framework for high performance that you can utilize and be the high performer that you want to be. So are you ready? Can we go ahead? I would like to hear from you. Are we ready, guys? If yes, give me a thumbs up, emoji, or just post on the chat box saying, yes, let's move on.
Yeah, everyone is eagerly looking forward, Sangeeta. Around 5 comments we have got that they want to know.
Okay, awesome, awesome. That's super duper. All right. So, take a look at the photo in your screen. And I would like you to take a guess and tell me, do you identify this person? Or if not, let me share a little bit of his story with you.
Right.
This person was born in 1974 in the slums of Manila in the Philippines. He used to gather leftover food, clean up the garbage, push carts, because his family was much below the poverty line. His dad, in fact, didn't have a job, and this little boy was the one who was contributing to the family's income by doing these different odd jobs. Yet, this little boy had a lot of dreams, had a lot of aspirations. He wanted to study further and educate himself. However, the poverty situation in the family did not allow him to do so. Luckily for him, one of his neighbors, who was taking a TV serial, offered him a role in the serial. And you know what role he had to play? He just had to go and ring the calling bell. And this boy was still very keen to do that because he was getting some money. He could be in an air-conditioned room and he was given some food as well. And therefore, he agreed to do this. And one thing led to the other because he was quite good looking. And from the TV, he moved on to becoming a movie star. By the age of 23 actually, he became the councillor of the city of Manila. So like you notice, from the slums, he moved to the movies and then he entered politics. And he did not stop there. He then went on to become the mayor of the city of Manila. And you know, when I visited Manila in the year 2019, Isko Moreno, which is his name, was a great sensation throughout the country. Everybody was raving about him, and this boy, this man right now, hasn't stopped. He now wants to go and become the president of the country. Now, the reason why everybody has been talking about him and the reason he's been so popular is, despite being a highly accomplished person and being the top politician, he even now sometimes goes, cleans the city and does a lot of good for the city. And he's all just about 46 or 47 and so popular. Now, why am I telling you the story of Isko Moreno from Philippines? Like you know, look at his transition. Slums, movies, politics at such a young age. That is a true example of high performance. Look at his growth, how he has moved from where he was to where he is. And that, my friends, is the speciality of high performance. Right. So, I would like you to take a moment and think, why high performance? Why everybody wants to be a high performer? Simply because, tell me, is there any one of you who does not want high performance? Be it leaders, be it businesses, be it different organizations, everybody wants to be a high performer in their own domain. And that's what makes high performance all the more a speciality. Because till date, I have given so many talks on high performance, and I'm yet to come across a person who says, I don't want high performance, right? So that is what makes high performance something so important. So we are talking so much about high performance. But what is high performance? Right? If I were to give it a definition, achieving superior results by performing at a high standard as per set targets is what is high performance. Let me repeat that for you. Achieving superior results by performing at a high standard as per targets that you are setting yourself. And that is high performance. So basically, you are trying to see how you can improve yourself, how you can become a better version of yourself, and how you could get better at what you're doing. And that is what will drive you towards high performance. Like I say, there is a high performer in each of us. And all that you need to do is to identify and channelize yourself in the right path so that you are in the path of performance. Now, if the word you, Y-O-U, if it was an acronym, how would that be? Y for you are, O for outstanding, and U for unique. I believe that you are outstanding and unique, and each one of us are. We are outstanding and we are unique, and we have the capability to achieve high performance in whatever that we are doing. All that you need to know is become a little aware of it so that you are able to drive yourself in the path that you want. Before I proceed further, I have a little song for you. And you know how it goes? You know you can get high. Your performance can touch the sky. If you work on it every night and day, manage beliefs right away. You know you can get high. Because it's in your hands. You have the potential. You have the capabilities, and you can achieve whatever that. So go ahead. Don't stop yourself. Go and get whatever that you want, my. So, being a coach, I'm going to share with you, like I promised, some of the keys for high performance. What are the challenges for high performance, and how you can overcome them with these keys that I'm going to share with you. So in my journey as a coach, I have worked with different people, and I have picked up some of the common challenges that most people face, and how you can help yourself with the keys to high performance that will help you overcome these challenges. So if you're ready, let's get moving. The first challenge that I have noticed is lack of clarity. Now, why am I talking about lack of clarity? Let me give you a real life example that happened with me. I had written an article on LinkedIn, and this article was headed "Break Free from the Myths of Coaching," and I had given 3 myths on how one can break away from these myths. And the top and the most important myth was how to differentiate between a coach and a mentor. Now, this particular article was actually published in another magazine, online magazine, and a lot of people appreciated me for the article, saying that it was very well written and it was very clear. In fact, Just last week, the International Coaching Federation from the US tweeted about my article. So on one hand, I was receiving a whole lot of compliments. And when I had published this on LinkedIn, there was one particular person commented saying, this article does not bring out the role a mentor plays. It's not clear. So the moment I saw that, I was a little taken aback because, when everybody is saying it's good, I was like, have I missed out on something important? Why is it not being, received well by this person? I had a whole load of thoughts, in my. But then I took a moment's pause. And then I realized my article was focused about coaching. It was not about mentoring. And that was an aha moment for me because I realized the objective of my article was to give clarity on coaching, and it was not about mentoring. And that opened my eyes, right? So the reason I'm sharing the common challenge that we face is the lack of clarity. And how do we get over it? By knowing your purpose. So I say the first key is purposefulness. Knowing why you're doing whatever you're doing. And that would give you a whole lot of clarity. Like Simon Sinek says, start with why, right? And that opens up your eyes and gives you a whole lot of clarity and drives you towards high performance because you know what your purpose is, right? That is what is the important aspect of knowing your purpose. In fact, this is not at an individual level as well. I have seen organizations, in fact, a client of mine, which is a big, large corporate house, they have not stated their purpose. The only purpose that they felt was to, they were in the manufacturing industry. They just wanted to manufacture and say, we want to make money. But hey, that cannot be a purpose, right? That is probably your end result why you're doing what you're doing. So go ahead and identify your purpose. And that will help you for high performance. So what is the second common challenge that many people face? You must have guessed it by now. It is the time management, right? All of us, we are so busy. We have so many things to do, so many distractions, and we seldom find the time for anything. So how can we get over this? So let me again share with you a real life incident, and this was a coaching conversation I had with another client of mine who is an entrepreneur. So during our coaching conversation, his objective from the session was he wanted to see how to grow his revenue, his top line. And then he was telling me as the conversation progressed how he's so pressed for time and he's not able to give the amount of time that is required for his business, which will enable him to grow his top line. He had to go meet his clients, talk to them, or do a video call with them, which would help him to grow his business. And he was pretty sure and confident about it. But the reason he hadn't done it was simply because he did not have the time. So during the coaching conversation, he also told me another interesting thing. What was it? He said, he was so excited that he had built his own website for the business, right? He's a startup, and therefore he did not want to spend too much money and decided that he would learn how to build a website, and he has done an amazing job of building this website. Being from a non-tech background, he had spent quite a considerable amount of time learning how to do the website, and of course invested more time in actually building this website. And that took quite some considerable amount of time. So when I asked him, I said, I know you've spent X number of hours in building this beautiful website. But had you invested this time in going and meeting your clients and growing your revenue, how much more could your business have earned? And that opened his eyes. He was like, yes, this is so minuscule. I know it is an expense and I've been trying to curb my expenses, but this is minuscule. Whereas if I had gone and met my clients, that would really help my top line to grow. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is you need to know time is money, right? You don't have to always control your cost. Controlling cost is important, but at what cost, right? Get to know that. So if you can delegate something, if you can outsource something that helps in the growth of your business, go ahead and do it. Now that the same principle is applicable in your personal life as well. So don't be penny wise and pound foolish, but think how you can manage your time. All of us have the same 24 hours. So be wise and choose what you really want. So the second key for high performance is delegation or outsourcing, whatever the case may be, because don't think you are a superman or superwoman and you want to achieve everything. So it's all right to delegate or even take help from the required people. So what is the third, right? Like we know, magic happens outside the comfort zone. So the earlier you realize it, the better for you. Let me share again with you my real life example. Like, I'm an author, but you know what? I never had plans of becoming an author. I wasn't really wanting to write anything. I was on a family vacation to Cambodia in 2015, and I had visited the killing fields in Phnom Penh, the capital of Cambodia. Horrible, barbaric, gruesome stories. And you go there even now, you will see pieces of bones and nails. It does something to you. Very gruesome. And it just left a thought in me, saying, what happens if man becomes so cruel? And even after I came back, this thought was lingering in me, and unknowingly I had weaved a story in my head. And I happened to chance upon a 100-day book authoring challenge, and we know how challenges are so exciting. So I went ahead, took the challenge, completed the book, and I still had a lot of butterflies because I didn't know how the book would be received because it's a spiritual thriller. Thankfully for me, the book did very well, and I was awarded as one of the 100 inspiring authors of India. One thing led to the other, and when I started telling people I have written this book, they said, where is the finance book? So then I went ahead to write What the Finance, which became a national bestseller. And then, of course, another book, and Get High, which is on high performance. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is, had I decided to be in my comfort zone, right, and didn't want to write because I was telling myself I'm not an author, I don't know how to write well, had I remained there, all this would not have happened. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is learn to step out of your comfort zone, right? And how do you do that? What is the key to that is, I say, it is discipline, which is nothing but your bliss plus discipline, because do something that makes you feel really good, make a discipline out of that, and by following that and doing that, you can actually manage to step out of your comfort zone. So that is the third key that I wanted to share with you. The fourth challenge. We have so many things to do, right? But are each of them, are they worthy or worthless? That's something I would like you to think about. Let me tell you a short story here. Once there was a king who had gone hunting to the forest. Unfortunately, he lost his way, lost his army and his people, and he was stranded all by himself He was trying to figure his way out, and he was just going in circles and was kind of getting lost. Luckily, he saw a man there, and that person helped the king find his way back to the kingdom. So the king was extremely thrilled and asked this man, "What do you do?" This man said, "Oh, actually, I don't have a job and I'm quite struggling." So the king says, "Don't worry. Please meet me tomorrow. Come to my palace tomorrow and I'll give you a pot of gold. Ensure you come tomorrow because from day after I'm going to be headed out for a war. So I will see you tomorrow," is what the king tells him. This man is very excited because he's going to get a pot of gold. So he goes home, tells his wife, he's so excited. He says, "Oh, this is what the king has told me. Tomorrow I have to go." The wife is equally thrilled. Next day morning, she cooks his favorite food and she goes and wakes him up. She says, "Get up, you need to go to the palace and collect the pot of gold." He says, yeah, I'll do it. I'm so thrilled. Let me just chill for some time and let me just sleep for some more time. She goes and wakes him again. And he's like, yes, I'm coming. Then she serves him his favorite meal. He eats it. He is so happy. And then his wife is saying, "Okay, listen, it's already afternoon, so just go to the palace right away." So he's like, "Okay, I'll go." Steps out. He sees some of his neighbors. He starts to boast to them. He says, "You know what? The king has called me and I'm going to get a pot of gold. I'm not going to be like any of you anymore. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to build my house. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that." And he brags around. He keeps going and he meets some more people. Same story. Then he wants to have some drink. He takes a lot of breaks. And by the time he reaches the palace, the guards there tell him, "No, it's too late. End of the day, you cannot meet the king. And if you really have to meet the king, you can come and." And my friends, he lost out on the opportunity to get the pot of gold. The reason I'm telling you is, we sometimes focus on things that are not so important. And thereby, we lose priority on what is important, right? So the fourth key I want to share with you is know your priorities. Whichever is important, put that first, right? Because the other things will automatically fall into place. So know your priorities. Where is your focus? What are your interests, right? So ensure you do whatever is important. Know how to prioritize what is important, and that will lead you to high performance. So be it in business as well, what sort of process improvements can you bring about so that you prioritize the important ones and you're not caught up and brought down by the different aspects that are not as important as what is. So that was the fourth key that I wanted to share with you. So like I promised, I know these keys are easier said than done, but how do you really go about it, right? So I'm going to share a framework which you can use as a shortcut to achieve high performance in whatever area of your choice. Personal, professional, in business, whatever you want to. So go ahead and note this framework. Like you know, probably I'm an acronym person. I love sharing acronyms because it has higher recall value and you know how to go about doing it. So what is the acronym for the framework of high performance is LIFE. L-I-F-E, life. So what does L stand for? L for love. When you love what you do, achieving high performance becomes a lot easier because it's your strength. And you don't have to sweat about it and you don't get stressed when you're doing something that you love. Let me share another acronym on how you can fall in love with what you do. Are you ready? Here it comes. So how do you fall in love with something that you like? Is something that makes you happy. You feel so happy when you're doing it, right? So H for happy. And if it's something that's of interest to you, right? You automatically want to keep doing it because you feel happy, you feel good about yourself. So something that is of interest to you. Something that will give you gains. Now the gains can be financial or non-financial. But then you're getting something by doing it, right? So then you would fall in love with it, right? So by now you must have guessed the acronym. It is HI, and the last H stands for heroic. You feel that you have done something that's really good. You feel good about yourself, and therefore you love what you do, and therefore you keep getting better at what you do. So being happy, feeling interested, getting the gains out of it, and feeling heroic would give you that high that you want. And therefore, you would be in love with what you do. So the acronym I said was LIFE, remember? So L for love, I for inspire. What makes you feel inspired? You would want to do that. And therefore, you would get onto the path of high performance. Look out for the inspiration. There's inspiration all around. All you need to do is just notice it and feel inspired. Inspire your own self. You can be your own inspiration as well. So go ahead, get that inspiration because that would help you for high performance. F is for focus. Be focused on what you're doing. You know, the mind is always chattering. The mind has so many different thoughts and telling you so many different things. Push it aside. Learn to focus on what you're doing, and that will again drive you towards. And lastly is the E. Life. So that's love, inspired, focus, and E is for excellence. Excelling at what you do, getting better in whatever you're doing. How is it you're striving to get better at what you're doing, right? That, if you have the intention to excel in what you're doing, will again drive you towards high performance. That is the framework that you need to remember. Doing something that you love, feeling inspired about it, focusing your energies and attention on it, and excelling in what you do will again ensure you are on the path of high performance, right? So that is what I wanted to share with you. And that is the framework, my friends, that you need to adopt to coach yourself for high performance. Now, you could coach yourself, which is you become your internal coach because you are your own coach. You can follow some of these things and coach yourself. It has its pros and cons. The advantages being you can learn yourself and you can perform. You know how to manage your own self and you are the best at it. So you know how to go about doing it. And you are independent. You are not really dependent on anybody else, whereas you coach your own self so you know how you are heading and progressing. At the same time, I would also like you to be aware on what the cons are. Some of the cons could be you're probably not getting a different perspective because it's you who has the same perspective working on your own self. There's probably nobody who is there to hold the mirror for you and tell you like, hey, this is probably not the best thing or whatever. So there's nobody holding a mirror out for you. And there's probably nobody to really kindle your thoughts because your thoughts are already there within yourself. So this could be a flip side. Like we know everything has its pros and cons. On the other hand, if you're interested, you could work with an external coach, somebody like me, and that also has its advantages and disadvantages. So advantages by working with an external coach is that you have an accountability partner. You have somebody to act as your sounding board, somebody who challenges you and somebody highlighting your blind spots. So, like you know, in the world of sports, even the best sportsman has a coach. They work with a coach. So I say, why should it be any different in the business world? And that's why it's said, Everyone needs a coach. Either you coach your own self or work with a coach to ensure you are the high performer that you want to be. So that is what I wanted to highlight with you. So my friends, as we are nearing the time, I would like you to take a moment's pause, think and reflect on what is it that you have learned till now. What are some of the things that you want to start implementing? And how is it you could get better at whatever that you're doing? Think about it, reflect on it, make your notes if required so that you know how you want to go. Which way are you headed? And that will drive you again for the high performance that you want. And lastly, I would also like to share with you that, like you know, this is my book, Get High, and it has been endorsed by some of the New York Times bestsellers like Marshall Goldsmith and Ron Kaufman, and also some of the senior industry leaders in India. And my other book that I mentioned to you is What the Finance, which is the national bestseller, and both of these are available on Amazon, hard and soft copy. So if you would like to go ahead and read it, do get it. Get High is an activity-based book. It gives you a lot of frameworks and tells you how you can be on the path of high performance. And for each of these keys, there are a lot of explanations. And apart from these keys that I've given you, there are a few other keys as well that will drive you forward. So if you're interested, go ahead and get it. And since you guys have been an amazing audience, I also have some free buys for you. And the first book that you see, that is A Glance at the Unknown, is the spiritual thriller that I mentioned. It's a free download on Kindle. So if you want, you can get that. And similarly, Nightingale's 3 is being written by Chartered Accountants C.A. Shivakumar Kara and Patabi Ram, who are CA professors, and it's an extremely inspirational book on the life journey of 11 chartered accountant women, and I'm also happy to be featured in that. So if you are looking for some inspiration, go ahead and read it. Some exceptionally good stories of many other women who are featured in it. And of course, on Audible is my third book, which is The Power of High Performance Coaching. It's a free download audiobook, so if you want, go ahead and get that as well. And yes, I would also like to share with you that on LinkedIn, I have created a group. It's called Get High to Fly High. And Fly High, you know what is the acronym for Fly High? It is finance, leadership, and your high performance. So we keep sharing and learning from each other nuggets on finance or leadership or high performance. So if you're interested, just go ahead, look for Get High to Fly High on LinkedIn and join the group. And of course, if you have some lovely ideas, go ahead and share it so that we all can learn from each other. And yes, I'm happy to connect with you. My social media handles are the Game Enabler. So I'm there on these social media platforms, and I will be more than happy to connect with all of you and help us each other, right? So now I would like to open up and now hear from you. What have been some of your key learnings today? What are your takeaways? What was it that stood out for you? And what is it you're going to get started on acting on your high performance? Do go ahead and let me know. And yes, if you have any questions and answers, please share that also with me. I'm happy to answer them for you. So over to you, Prabdeep. I would like you to read out some of the things, in the chat.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta. We have 6 minutes before our committee chairman, C. Hansraj Chuks, takes over for valedictory session, who has joined us. And I welcome Chuk sir to the meeting. Before the questions come and the learnings, participants share, there have been so many comments which has come praising you, which include you are a great storyteller. Many have written this. You are a great communicator, right? And you are a good singer, and your session was very fascinating. And many have said best session, and all of these have been said by one person who has liked your session too much. I would like to take his name because he has mentioned almost everything what I have just said. His name is Jayesh Chauhan.
Okay. Excellent.
So, there have been some comments which has come over, like if my communication would have been like you, a person would have been, I would have been very happy with that. So, before other comments come, if you have any tips for them to improve their communication skills, because we can take that as one question.
Sure. Yes. So definitely you could improve your communication skills, and the key is practice, practice, practice. Because practice is what makes one perfect. You need, first thing is be aware of it, that you are wanting to improve your communication. So once you get the awareness, you know what exactly you need to work upon, and that will open up something for you, right? And as I said, keep practicing. Whatever that you want to communicate, right? Your objective is to ensure the other person to whom you're communicating is understanding and you're able to get your things done. That is the most important aspect of communication. So keep that in mind before you want to communicate. And on my YouTube channel, which is again the Gain Enabler, I have a detailed, I think about a 20-minute talk which is exclusively on communication, communication for high performance. So that was a talk I did for Amazon. So go ahead, it's a lot more details. It shares quite a few things. So go ahead and look through that and enrich yourself more. But to give you in a crux and in a nutshell, it's what I told you.
I have one question from my side, Sangeeta. You shared the story of a young man who wants to become a president in Philippines, yeah, right? And 3 or 4 years back, if I'm not wrong, one of the president for his hard rules also became very famous, who also came from a very, I think, low background. And there were some things which people also didn't used to like. So you must be having a knowledge of that leader also. So as you perform people for high coaching, can you compare these two leaders, who was a president, became famous, and who wants to become a president now in the country?
Right. So like I said, each person is unique. Each person has their own strengths and their weaknesses. We are all humans. Nobody is 100% perfect. Each of us brings something to the table. So first thing is, I would not like to compare anybody. But what I would say is, how is it you're leveraging on your strengths? You know you're blessed and you have the capacity and the potential to achieve something. How is it that you are actually utilizing that? How are you leveraging on what you have? Because by focusing on that and improving your strengths, that really helps you to get better, right? So focus on your strengths and not really your weaknesses, because your strength must be so good that it covers up for your weakness.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sangeeta. I hand over to Chuk sir for the valedictory session. Very warm welcome and thank you to Chuk sir for being here and giving us this opportunity. And sir, over to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prabdeep. Really, it's a great moment for me also, being a chairman of the committee. You see, like normally in the very first day or in the last day, it comes from my heart also. Why I should not spend some time with the younger ones, and why should I not praise those who have really during these 7 days, they have given the time for the younger ones. So that naturally the methodology or the way they have given them, and naturally some of the younger ones, I'll not say 100%, but many will be beneficiary. You see, like once you learn from the others, so it is not like in any class, it is not the 100% will be on focused mind. And today also I can find out whatsoever the number may be the joining there, or whatsoever may be the participants, the way both the speakers, I can feel from the last word itself, the way it has been spelt out, or the way it has been brought into the minds of the younger ones. You see, like if one wants to be an achiever, one wants to get high, so no one stops them up except they themselves. The burning desire which has to come from the internal also and from the surroundings also. External guidance matters, the internal strength matters. The weakness definitely coexist with everyone, whether it is Sangeeta madam or Ramnath ji, and for me also, or whether it is Prabdeep ji or Ranganathan ji with us. The coexistence of the weakness and the strength, it goes along. But how you take out of that weakness to get away from you, and how you strengthen your strength, and or rather convert your weaknesses into the strength, and how you love yourself, how do you create a burning desire within you so that your speed and accuracy grows up for touching the heights, for getting into the high spirit, getting into the heights as a CEO or the CFO or the bigger positions, maybe in the long run. But it is not like overnight you start thinking about it. It's a starting from the few points and naturally adding into, and that goes to the extent. So I'm very grateful and thankful to Sangeeta today for bringing out so many good things, for taking her time out, and same time to Ramnath ji for making us our younger ones those we really the profession grows naturally, future lies in their hand, and this profession ultimately the flag of this profession lies in the hands of the younger ones. They'll be taking this forward so in the manner the guidance is being given by you all, whether it is the effective skill on the approach matters, the aspiration and the things from the others, that matters. And I'm personally feel like I also, when I started my career as a professional accountant or the chartered accountant, how difficult it was for me. Believe me, I was a science graduate. I was not even aware of the debit or the credit or anything about the accounts or the tax side. And believe me, I got the highest marks in my accounts. I got 88 marks in my accounts. I got 82 marks in my direct tax. That was basically coming something from the inner, ki unless until you will do so, unless until you go exceptionally to learn on those things, so you cannot achieve with. So that is the need, a guidance required to the younger ones. I personally, on behalf of each and every participants, on my behalf, on my personal behalf, on behalf of my co-chairman, and on behalf of the team with the committee, I'm very grateful and thankful to both of you today. Naturally, during the last 7 days, so many speakers or so many faculties or the panelists were there with us, talking on the opportunities, communication and the critical thinking. Thinking matters, the ideas matters, and the step first matters. And the age these younger ones are, the full of energy, bubbling desire to achieve something best in the life, not for limiting to themselves, for their family and for their whole structural things around them. Personal branding also they have to go in the long manner. The system of the technology is nowadays is the need, unless until any professional, whether it is the profession of the medico, profession of the chartered accountancy, legal profession also, profession of the engineering, though they need it. But it is, our profession is also not spared without the knowledge of the technology. We cannot achieve the highest. So those are the system understanding, soft skill, naturally having it good command on the as far as the technical skill in itself is not independent. The optimum can only be achieved through the process of integration of the soft knowledge, soft skill, and the hardcore knowledge also. So these are the words. I'm very grateful and thankful to all the speaker around us, whether it is Jaya Lakshmi yesterday and the Preeti Singhal. They have delivered us on the different topics, on the exploring opportunities and so many things. And same way, day before yesterday, Rahul Rastogi and the Sales Churiwala, they on the technology front, data analytics. Same way, Pankaj Mundra and the MN Pai Saab also on the 25th of May, and Dhaval Jasani and the Sadika Kabi from the different jurisdiction. We are not limiting ourselves to the jurisdiction which from where I am is or from my friends Ranganathan is. We are spreading the people from the best of the speakers from the different jurisdiction, and same way we can find from the Africa also and from Delhi also Amit Arora, then Mukta, Sunanda, Lakshmi, then Pinal, then Sivani, from the different jurisdiction from the African countries, from Mumbai also, from Delhi also. The very first day was with the Vikas Chaturvedi from Amsterdam, then Vis from the San Francisco, Yatinder from Sydney, Algappan from Singapore, Ajay from London, Anjani from Luxembourg. So those were basically those who have brought best of their understanding about the soft skill, best of the technology, best to understand. So I'm very grateful and thankful to each one of them. I'll personally request Ranganathan ji to convey my sincere thanks to each and everyone, though I could not meet much of them because I just entered into the very first inaugural day, and on the last day I can see Sangeeta and Ramnath ji today. But during these intervening days, I could not meet them up. But I'll request Ranganathan ji to personally convey my best regard to them and my sincere thanks to them. Prabdeep, sincere thanks to you also for coordinating in best of the manner, and to the secretariat headed by Ranganathan ji also for taking this EDP program, though this is a third in the row. Will be getting into numbers of others also, because it's a, you see, like first 3 years for any professional as a in the level. So we have targeted ki at least for first 3 years we must continue with it on a 6 monthly basis, on that examination pattern basis, and accordingly once we are through with this 3 years parameters, we'll be drawing some attention towards the MDP also, Management Development Program, and Leadership Skill Development Programs also. That will be in a different format, but this I personally believe best of the program with the support from the Prabdeep and the Ranganathan ji and the so many contribution by the speakers across different jurisdiction. They have been a great contributor, resource person, faculty and the speakers or the panelists in the different program. Thank you everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you Sangeeta and the Ramnathan ji again to both of you, because I can get you feel ki how was the program. Thank you very much. Thank you. Over to Pradeep.
Thank you so much, sir. So we are very happy with the way these three programs.
Lastly, Pradeep, my great thanks to all the participants also, because without the participants, the numbers, we cannot succeed. And I'm very much thankful to each and every participants for naturally for the encouragement which you got for this for this very program. And I'm hopeful that this program will bring a lot of changes in your understanding, clarity in the thought, and sincere in your efforts also, the way you want to grow with. Naturally, there is a saying, the clarity in the thought and the sincerity in the efforts is the very first stage. Unless until you are clear in your mind, unless until you have brought your mind to that level and you start with the speed and accuracy and the speed with a execution of whatever comes to your mind, so you cannot succeed. So those words are definitely brought in. And there is a other saying, कि सक्सेस कैरीज सम काइंड ऑफ प्रिंसिपल. सफलता की एक ही कुंजी कड़ी मेहनत, दूरदृष्टि, पक्का इरादा, अनुशासन. These are the 4 words which I am speaking in Hindi. Reason being, when I qualified as a chartered accountant or when I was a student like of a chartered accountancy, तो मुझे किसी हमारे गुरु ने सिखाया कि एक ही सफलता का एक ही रास्ता है, कड़ी मेहनत, दूरदृष्टि, पक्का इरादा, अनुशासन. इंग्लिश में यदि हम बात करें, इफ वी स्पीक इन इंग्लिश, गुड विजन, great vision has to be developed. The vision has to be converted into the mission also, brought into the goal also, and then strategy has to be developed. Strategy which goes on a monitoring. You have to monitor and you have to keep on changing the strategy. Strategy does not mean it is permanent. Vision is permanent once vision has come into, but the strategy has to be keep on changing by way of the good monitoring process. So then you have to change it. If it is not been developed the way it requires to be, so you have to change it. So the hard work, no substitute. Hard work, vision, then determination, then discipline. So these are the starting points for to be a successful person. And I hope each and every participants will be great successful professional in the time to come, where they want to be an achievements, like whether it is CFO or the CEO or the different level from time to time in their journey as a professional of the chartered accountancy. Over to Prabdeep.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for being here, giving us opportunity. And today we have completed, 20 days in this series. And as you just mentioned that we will be looking at, we have to complete the programs for up to 3 years. So 21 more days of opportunities in this same series we will be getting in the next month. And I would like to state the dates to the participants that 3rd June is where we will be starting our 4th batch. And you participants have been mentioning about the presentation. So we will be working with the technical team to see that where the recorded webcast section is there the presentations are uploaded, and once it is uploaded, it will be informed to you, and then you can download it. And we have one question from Vandan on Career Accent Program, and I would request Ranganathan ji that he can share the words on the program and the other things before we close on.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Prabdeep. We have a career ascent program for experienced chartered accountants. All those members who are into the membership for at least 1 year, that is, have taken their membership on or before 31st May 2020, are eligible to participate. We are not charging any fees from the companies, so that we want more and more companies. We are laying more emphasis on overseas companies this time. So large number of companies are expected to participate. The CAs are required to register. The date of registration for the members starts on 10th of June. It finishes on 16th of June, and the interviews will be on virtual mode on 30th of June. The announcement is already there in our website. It is there in the social media websites. It is also coming in our CA journal. And anybody has any queries, they can reach out to us. My email ID is ranga@icai.in. Our details are there in the website. My mobile number, everything is there. We are available 24/7 to help you all. Wish you all the best with your career. Thank you so very much.
Ranganathan ji,
Thank you.
Prabdeep ji, if you don't mind, Hansraj ji, आपने तो हमें इतना प्रोत्साहित कर दिया कि मुझे भी एक गाना गाने का मन
बहुत
कर रहा है।
अच्छा यार रामनाथ जी, ये तो बड़ा सुन के कि मैंने प्रोत्साहित कर दिया, ये तो मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगा कि आप मेरे लिए इतने अच्छे वर्ड यूज कर रहे हैं। तो मुझे अभी तक फील नहीं हो रहा है कि मैंने आपको कैसे प्रोत्साहित किया।
नहीं, आपने तो हमारे ऑडियंस को तो मैं आपसे प्रोत्साहित होकर मैं एक लाइन करता हूं, फिर आई हैंड ओवर टू रंगनाथन जी एंड प्रदीप जी। मेरा सुर तो नहीं है, बट मुझे इतने सारे गाने अच्छे हैं। मैं अपने सेशंस में बहुत गानों के साथ में मिलाता हूं, बट मुझे ये एंडिंग में ये आपसे प्रोत्साहित होकर मैं करता हूं ये, हाँ, आपकी आज्ञा से। कहिए तो आसमां को कहिए तो आसमां को जमी पर उतार लाए। मुश्किल नहीं है कुछ भी, मुश्किल नहीं है कुछ भी अगर ठान लीजिए। मुश्किल नहीं है कुछ भी अगर ठान लीजिए। दिल चीज क्या है आप मेरी जान लीजिए। आपने तो इतना हमें इम्प्रेस कर दिया हंसराज जी, और प्रदीप जी एंड रंगनाथन जी have played such a stellar role in coordinating the whole thing. We are all very grateful.
Yes, I would definitely want to second what you're saying, Ramnath ji. It has been a great team, great experience, always ready to support us. And Hansraj ji, I'm so happy to meet you virtually. And
Yeah,
Ramnath ji.
and must thank Jigar and his team also. See, everyone as a team, you know, all the elements have to come together to make it happen, right? The platform, the tool, you know, the streaming, such a wonderful tool. It's an absolute outcome of beautiful coordination and teamwork.
Yes, excellent job.
Yeah, Ranganathan ji,
Chairman
please
sir.
go ahead.
हाँ जी चेयरमैन सर, मैं सर एक बात कहना चाहूंगा कि ये जो ईडीपी सीरीज हुआ सर, ये तीसरा वाला, इसमें सर जो अधिकांश व्यक्ति थे वो दक्षिण भारतीय थे।
Oh, very
तो
good.
मैं क्लैरिफाई कर दूं सर कि मैं दक्षिण भारतीय खुद हूं, मगर इसमें मेरा कोई योगदान नहीं है। जैसे रामनाथ जी हैं दक्षिण भारतीय, मगर उत्तर भारतीय से कम नहीं है सर, मैं भी ऐसा ही हूँ।
हाँ, बस हमें
ये सारा योगदान सरदार जी का है, ये सारे दक्षिण भारतीय सरदार जी के हैं।
हाँ, ये तो प्रदीप जी,
ये तो बहुत ही क्या कहें, हमें तो बहुत मजा आ गया।
Thank you.
हम चाहते हैं कि हमारी जो टीम
Yeah, I agree. Sangeeta, Ramnath, all Tamilian speakers I only invited. And thank you. Thank you so much. We have 3 more programs. We will see many more Tamils also, because I live in Dubai and other countries which is full of Tamils. So we will see many Tamil speakers.
Nice. Thank you so much. Amazing. Great.
Yeah, Sangeeta ji, very nice to meet you. Very nice to meet you.
Likewise. Let's stay in touch. Yes.
Yes, sure.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye
Thank you.
bye. Sir, we'll be in touch, sir. Madam, we'll be in touch.
கண்டிப்பா meet பண்ணணும்.
Niche sir, definite. Bye bye, sir.